Welcome to another episode of the International Trumpet Guild podcast. For more information or to become a member, please visit trumpetguild.org. Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the International Trumpet Guild podcast. I'm Julia Stowell, and I am joined by the lovely Dr. Nancy Taylor today. Dr. Nancy Taylor holds the distinction of breaking the brass ceiling and becoming the first woman in the trumpet section of the President's own United States Marine Band in their 197-year history. She is also a board-certified occupational therapist specializing in ergonomics and injury prevention for musicians. She earned degrees in trumpet performance from Arizona State University, Indiana University, and Texas Tech University, and she also received a Master of Occupational Therapy degree from University of Texas, El Paso. Having spent her career paving the way for the next generation of women in trumpet, Dr. Taylor is an icon in the brass world. In addition to her title as Professor of Trumpet at University of Texas, El Paso, Dr. Taylor is currently serving as Principal Trumpet of the El Paso Symphony Orchestra, co-chair of the International Women's Brass Conference Solo Competition, and on the ITG Editorial Committee. Thank you so much for being with us today, Dr. Taylor.
Thank you for making me sound so fancy.
So could you tell us a little bit about how you got started with music and a little bit about the journey that led you to ultimately choose trumpet as your career?
Wow. Okay. Well, 5 kids in my family. We all played an instrument. Everybody played an instrument. I'm number 4, child 4 of 5. And I wanted to play the clarinet, and thank God my father said, no, you can't do that. Why don't you play the trumpet? We have one. Your brother plays the trumpet. So my brother taught me to play the trumpet. I grew up playing my father's New York Mount Vernon B flat, and that was pretty great. I took to it instantly. I remember being 9 years old saying, I'm going to be a trumpet player when I grow up. I didn't know what that meant. I knew I didn't want to be Mr. Jones, so I didn't want to be a band director, right? Which is funny. I'm 9. So, but when I was 9 years old, I said, yeah, this is it. And it's the only thing I've ever really wanted to do. Yeah. And so then I went to Arizona State, Indiana University, took 13 auditions, won the Marine Band audition, and did that for 8 years, and then left to work at Baskin-Robbins for 2 years and study with Vince DiMartino and then be a teacher, a college teacher. So that's the short story.
That's so special that you knew so young.
It is. And I know as musicians, we are so lucky. Can you imagine what it would be like going to college and not having any idea what you want to do? And kids put so much stress on themselves. They're like, well, I don't know if I want to do this for the rest of my life. And I'm like, dude, just do it for right now. Just get a degree in something that works for you. And hopefully you'll have many opportunities to do whatever you want in your life.
Yeah.
But yes, I am very aware of the privilege that it is to know what we want to do.
Yeah, that's awesome. So our next ITG related question would be, could you tell us about when you first learned or first became familiar or involved with the ITG?
Well, when I was undergrad, I think I was a freshman in undergrad at Arizona State. And I don't remember where ITG was, but I do remember that as a studio, we all went to ITG.
Wow.
And yeah, and I remember seeing Mel Broyles, and Mel Broyles was this enormous barrel-chested man, and he was wearing a fuchsia sweater. He was just this ball of fuchsia with white pants, tight white pants, and white cowboy boots. And he was just walking around like, I'm a girl. Yeah.
And that's ITG. That's ITG for you.
And it hasn't changed a bit. That's
Uh,
what it is. Yep. And yeah, that's it. It was
that's
great.
that's so cool. Your whole studio went.
The whole studio went.
Yeah.
And I remember hearing Håkan play. Maybe that year he was very, very young.
Mm,
And growing up, well, from like college on, Håkan was my model for sound.
mm,
Uh, and we listened to records back then. And so, I would go to the library and check out the record and put it on the thing and put on my headphones and close my eyes and pretend I am that. And um, and so seeing him at ITG was amazing. And then seeing him again, 40 years later, he was just at this past ITG. And I was like so starstruck, I couldn't even talk to him. I'm like, oh my God.
yeah.
Right. So ITG has been really, it's been a huge part of my development as a trumpet player. Just saying, okay, check this out. That was fun. Now check this out, and
Mm.
now listen to this. And uh, I really enjoyed my 4 years on the board of directors and being able to be on the decision making process of some of those things. And yeah, I'm really grateful to be part of it.
Yeah. We're grateful to have you a part of it, for sure.
Golly.
Can you share with us a favorite ITG memory besides the ball of Fuchsia or Håkan, or if there's anything specific?
No.
Seeing Håkan when you're young, that's pretty huge.
Say that again.
If you're seeing Håkan when you were young, that was probably pretty formative.
Because he was probably 20 years old.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was probably 20 years old. And I think he played krill, some
Wow.
crazy, crazy stuff. So yeah, I love that. And then having the opportunity to take my students to
Mm.
ITG, and having my students volunteer for ITG, it's a very, very cool, full circle moment. Yeah.
It's cool.
And trying to explain to them like what ITG is and everything. I'm like, just sign the paper. Just come
Yeah.
with us. You will love it.
I
So,
feel that way trying to explain to people, to the undergrads here, about what is ITG or NTC. Like, you just have to go and then you'll get it.
right, right,
Yeah.
or anything, any like summer thing.
Mhm.
Go to Swanee Music Festival. Go to the Kentucky Trumpet Summit. Go to anything. It just the opportunity to be in a room with a bunch of people who are as big a nerd as you
Mhm.
are, and you just talk about the same thing. It's really exciting. It's life changing, really.
It's special. It's really
Hmm.
special. Okay. So you made first history as the first woman in the trumpet section of the President's Own United States Marine Band. What was that moment like for you when you won the job, personally and professionally?
The moment, of course, the moment was glorious. I had reached a goal. I had won a stable, prestigious job with good pay and with benefits. And that was the focus. I wanted a job because I won this job in 1990, and that was when orchestras were just starting to tank. When I was in college, growing up, having the goal of being, I want to be principal trumpet in a symphony orchestra, and we said it, yes, just like that.
Right, of
But
course.
but wanting that was pretty reasonable in like the 80s. And then in the 90s, things were tanking. And so it was like, gosh, I just want a job where I get to play my horn. And oh my gosh, I get benefits, and that's really wonderful. And so the younger version of me just wanted a job. I was very, very happy about that. Um, I wasn't thinking about being the first woman. I was thinking of winning this audition. it was my 13th audition. I think it was the second time I had auditioned for the Marine Band. And it wasn't until much later that I understood the historical significance of winning that job. Um, because the experience of being the only female in the trumpet section of 12 to 15 men, right? Who had gotten the job during the Vietnam era, right?
Whoa.
Yeah. So when I got in the band, they were all kind of on their way out, maybe. I mean, they were older. Most of them were much older than me. So I didn't fit in culturally. I didn't fit in because I was this little 25-year-old girl. I tried to connect. I tried to participate. I tried to like playing golf. I just didn't. It's so boring. Oh, so, I tried to find a common ground. But as the first girl in that section, like I said, the experience was really complicated. I felt very alone. I felt invisible. I felt like an outsider because I was, there wasn't camaraderie that we see so much more now, and camaraderie that we feel. Um, for example, when we're around a bunch of girl trumpet players, it's now when I feel that, it makes me so happy because I know that aloneness, that just the lonely feeling of being the only one. And I'm so happy to see that it's not happening as much anymore. So yeah, people call me a trailblazer, and that can look very glamorous from the outside, but from the inside, it can be very isolating. But it wasn't until years after I left that I really understood what it meant to have been part of that change. I was woman number 37 in the band, and woman number 1 was Ruth Johnson, who so Title IX was passed in 1972, in late 1972. Ruth Johnson got in the band in early 1973. So okay, so the Marine Band didn't have to hire her, but they're very closely positioned with the White House, obviously. So I think they might have done it, for optics, like, okay, we'll let women in the band. But she took tremendous heat. She was a horn player, and she took tremendous heat. And each of the women in the band has made it incrementally easier for the next person. Ruth stayed for 4 years. Some of the women after her stayed for 20 years, for 30 years. I stayed for 8 years. So sometimes just doing the thing is enough to shift the landscape, which is what we do, which is what I always wanted to do, just shift the landscape, because now the landscape is changing. I still have people look at me and say, "A lady trumpet player? Well, ain't that weird?" And it's not as weird anymore, which is very cool. And I'm going to stop talking about that.
Yeah, I think you probably not recognizing the significance of it in the moment probably helped you to put less pressure on yourself. Like you said, you're a 25-year-old girl who just won this job because you just, you wanted a job. You didn't need the extra pressure on you that you felt like you were holding this historical significance,
Yes.
Yeah, totally.
Exactly.
Looking back, what advice would you give to women auditioning for premier military ensembles today?
My advice is not much different than I would give anyone. Be an exceptional trumpet player and be an exceptional human. Those two things matter most. Doesn't matter how good you play. If you're a jerk, if you're unreliable, no one wants to work with you. No one wants to work with you.
Mhm.
Um, but for women anywhere, women across the board, I would add, don't tolerate don't tolerate environments that require you to shrink yourself.
Mhm.
You know, that
Totally.
excellence does not require you, should not require you to shrink yourself. Um, and maybe even be compliant with misogyny. If you're in, and because I'm a really old lady, way back then, there were some certain situations that were extremely misogynistic, just like things that make me cringe now. And I'm not talking directly about the Marine Band, but experiences that I had in my 20s. Oh my gosh. And
Mhm.
I found myself just kind of being compliant, being like, oh,
Yeah.
yeah, boys are like that. Oh, I know dirty jokes too. And really becoming compliant with the misogyny. And I would tell women now, and I think women are much more outspoken now, don't don't pretend to be compliant. You
Mhm.
don't need that in order to be recognized, in order to be excellent, in order to get the gig.
Mhm. Yeah. I think there's a level of figuring out how to embrace who you are and like your gender versus trying to like fit into the mold that you think you're supposed to fit into. You know.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And that speaks to a support system.
Mm.
When you get a new job and you're moving to a place where you don't know any of these people, they're musicians, great, but find a support system and find your support system quickly. Find your people, um, people who see you, because hard work will get you in the door, but it's
Mhm.
the community. It's the community. It's the sense of belonging that helps you stay.
And that's everything.
And that's everything. Yeah.
So, yeah. So shifting away from the Marine Band, currently you're the principal trumpet of the El Paso Symphony Orchestra. In
Mhm.
that role, how do you approach leadership within your section, maybe both musically and professionally?
Leadership within my section of the El Paso Symphony. The second trumpet is Jacob Dowager, who teaches at NMSU just up the road. He's a tremendous trumpet player. He's tremendous. And third trumpet player is tremendous, Paul McLaughlin, who played in the Army Field Band for, I think, 10 years before moving back to New Mexico. And no leadership required. It's like, hey, guys, let's not suck. Okay.
Mhm. Mhm.
I'm not going to tell them how to play.
Yeah, it's
I'm
easy. They're
no,
good.
I have respect for them. They are grown ass men, and um, well, maybe not completely. Jacob's really young, but man, he's good. They're great trumpet players, and I don't have to tell them anything. Sometimes I'll have to say, I need you to play a little softer there, okay? But that's it. I don't feel a need to police the brass section or to police the trumpet section. That's just not, I feel it's just not part of the gig. Not
Mhm.
necessary.
Yeah. I
Hmm.
think too, there's an element of leading with your playing. Like if you're laying it down and they're laying it down, there's no need to have to convey anything else.
Absolutely.
Totally.
Absolutely. There are certain things like, okay, can we get here 20 minutes early tomorrow night and play that part? And then, we've done that. We might do that a couple times a season, but we don't shed stuff a lot unless like it's Mahler 5. Then we met the day before and we ran the whole thing, mostly because we wanted to and it was really fun.
Yeah.
So, we like each other. I'm so glad we don't have one of those sections where someone's a jerk and won't talk to anybody else. So
Yeah.
we have a good time. It's a good balanced section.
That's
So the
awesome.
most talking we do, the most discussing we do is what mutes we're going to use. And for me, the answer is always whatever's in the trunk of my car at that moment. That's it.
Do they roll around loose in the trunk of your car, or do they have like a special little
Oh no,
pocket?
they go in those little side pockets.
Oh, nice. Good. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah,
Nice.
I got that's like where all my mutes are. Mhm.
The portable mute bag. It's just your whole car is your mute bag.
Yes, my car
Like,
is my mute bag.
That's great. So, what inspired you to pursue a Master of Occupational Therapy after you already established such a successful career in playing trumpet? Total degree career shift.
Well, I had curiosity is the short answer, and I like that one. But the long answer is um, I had I had not been hugely successful at college teaching, and so I met someone who was an OT, and she told me about it, and I said, "Well, that sounds like common sense." And she's like, "Yeah, and you get paid a lot of money for it." So I was like, "Pfft." I looked into it, did my prerequisites, started the OT program at UTEP. And then at that same time, it's in the same semester that I started the OT program, I started teaching part time at UTEP, teaching trumpet, right? So I'm teaching 8 trumpet students. At the same time, I'm taking Psych 101 and anatomy and physiology and all that. And it was, I don't know, it just turned into this thing. And it was at that moment I realized I love medical stuff.
Mm,
Really love the whole, like we did gross anatomy. So anatomy on a no longer living human.
it's my nightmare.
It is the coolest thing I've ever done in my life. The no one wanted to dissect the face. I dissected the face, and I'm like, "Whoa, look at the buccinator muscle. That's your freaking trumpet playing muscle. Look at the angularis oris." Oh my gosh, I loved it. It was amazing. And then also, this is so fun, Julia. Hi.
I'm like picturing you over this.
Oh my gosh, I'm like, it's a brain. Oh God, it was amazing. Sheesh. But being an occupational therapist, so like by the time I am in full swing with this degree program, I've got 14 trumpet students and I am the full-time trumpet teacher. And it worked out because one helped the other.
Mm.
Being a musician, I mean, musicians are awesome. Somebody says, do this, and we're like, okay. And they say, that was terrible. And we say, okay. And then right? And then we just keep doing it and we do it better. And so as an OT, like in OT school, write this paper, do this presentation, blah, blah, blah. Okay.
Yep.
It's really hard, but it was fascinating because in OT school, they're asking, with it, sorry, back, beep, beep, beep. In OT school, we're learning activity analysis. What skills does it take to do something? What skill does it take to pick up a glass? Well, it takes grasp and it takes shoulder strength. What? It takes shoulder strength? Yeah. What does it take to be able to feed yourself, to dress yourself? And so I learned to break down tasks and teach people in a way that is not overwhelming, and
Mm.
teach them in a way that is within their ability. And guess what trumpet teaching is? Oh, yeah, it's breaking down tasks, and it's
Mhm.
teaching things in a way that's not overwhelming, and teaching things that are within the student's ability.
Yeah.
And so OT and music really helped each other.
Yeah.
It was very exciting to figure that out. And it was exciting to figure out that, oh my gosh, you have a radial nerve that runs through here, and tension right here is why you have pain right here as a flute player. And I could figure out and help people with their injuries,
Mhm.
their pain, because of what I learned in OT school, what I learned about biomechanics and ergonomics and anatomy and all that. So it was really just kind of despair and curiosity that put me into the OT program, and it's just turned out beautifully. I love being able to do both things.
Yeah. It's interesting how much overlap there is.
Yeah, because it's teaching. Teaching is teaching. And now look back at 9-year-old me who said, I want to be a trumpet player. I want to be a band director. I don't want to be a teacher.
So funny.
And now it's all I am.
Yeah.
And my undergrad and master's are both in performance because I didn't want to be a teacher. And I tell this to my students all the time. It's like, you don't know what you want to be when you grow up. Neither do I. I want to be a surgeon. Oh my gosh, I want to go to medical school. I would love to go to medical school. My mother won't let me. She says I'm too old.
I think you'd be great at it.
Yes.
Next time I do surgery.
Yes.
I'll call you.
Come on over.
You just come over. You can just do it. Yeah.
I have a table saw.
Perfect. Great. So what are the most common physical challenges that you see from your OT background in trumpet players?
Oh, you know what's pretty amazing is trumpet players, we play a symmetrical instrument. We're not weird, right? It's the people who play these asymmetrical, huge instruments that get all the injuries. Trumpet players just practice too much and use too much pressure. That's what I have found. I've worked with a lot of trumpet players with overuse injury in their face, and it's because they just use too much damn pressure. And I say, anchor your mouthpiece at the bottom, put your mouthpiece at the top, just enough to actually create a seal.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how much pressure you use. You don't need this, right? So trumpet players that have come to me with injuries have all had too much top lip pressure. Now you couple too much top lip pressure with a mouthpiece that's too big, and it's just forget about it. It's just forget about it. I had during COVID, my first Zoom consultation was of a gal who had done a master's at a reputable Texas school, got a master's degree, and she said, yeah, my top lip has hurt for about 2 years.
Oh.
Like, what? She playing a 1.5 C and anchoring on the top lip. And so she trusted me, and it was beautiful. Anchored on the low lip, ordered a much smaller, like a 5B. I play a wingman or a wing woman. And it's like a 5B. And a lot of my studio plays maybe a 3, but a lot of them play a 5. And that's what this person switched to, and then anchored on the bottom. And she texted 2 weeks later and said, I just played an entire church gig and it never hurt.
Wow. And
that was like fantastic. And so I'm seeing it more and more that trumpet players just smash their face, and they mess up their back because they put 90 pounds of stuff in their backpack trumpet things, or they just use one. Yes. I think, use wheels. Trumpet cases on wheels are good, but yeah, injuring this should not hurt ever. And it really shouldn't swell up either. So I have a whole thing. I could talk about that for another 20 minutes. You're not going to be.
Yeah, I think the overuse is so. I mean, it's just it's when it's. I think part of it's product of, well, more reps means it's better, or
Yeah,
like not knowing how to practice efficiently, and so you just think that if you do it over and over again, that it will get better, and it's not. It hurts,
it hurts.
So.
Yeah, yeah.
So this sort of ties into my next question a little bit. So, as the trumpet professor at UTEP, what is your general sort of teaching philosophy? How do you approach your studio?
With kindness,
Mhm.
that that they that they have to be kind and respectful to each other.
Mhm.
I am to them, and I expect and hope they will be to each other because, like I said before, nobody really cares how good you play if you're an asshole. So, beep. Um, we really need fewer assholes in the world, and um, so I do a lot of the with red stuff of creating community within within the studio. Um, as far as trumpet playing goes, efficiency. It's all
Mhm.
about efficiency. Uh,
Mhm.
it's all about efficiency, which is getting the greatest amount of work done by actually doing the smallest amount of work.
Yep.
So, you know how you do that? You put most of the mouthpiece pressure on the bottom.
You should have a shirt. Anchor on
Most
the lip.
anchor low, right? So just there and then just that much. That's all you need. You don't need you don't need 50-50 pressure. You
Yeah.
really don't. Um, the less pressure you use on the top lip, you will need to use more airspeed. So everything in the mouth should be, higher. I'm very much of the Jim Pandolfi school of trumpet playing, Jim Pandolfi and Peter Bond and Vince DiMartino, where everything is just up here, right? Everything's up here, and we play small mouthpieces, and we work on being resonant
Mhm.
and not working really, really, really hard because trumpet is loud.
Mhm.
So let the instrument do its thing. That's that's how I am as a teacher. And the older I've gotten as a teacher, the nicer I've gotten. And the less like nitty gritty involved, because I can, man, I can talk about fundamentals. And you want to talk about where the tongue strikes and the angle and the arch, and that stuff is great. I am a huge nerd on that. Um, but when it comes down to it, make a pretty sound because that
Mhm.
make a pretty sound. Do it again. Be your authentic self, and then your authentic sound will come out. Uh,
Mhm.
yeah, playing the trumpet's the coolest thing I've done in my whole life. It's absolutely the coolest thing, and being a teacher is so much fun, and having the privilege of of being able to watch their development
Mhm.
and having some input along the way is really great. So
Mhm.
as I've grown as a teacher, I've become a lot nicer, and I stay out of the way a lot more.
Yeah.
Just let them figure it out.
Mhm. And they will.
And they will.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you have a student who you feel like is playing really inefficiently, you feel like they're working really, really hard, how do you I'm just, like, curious, like, how do you go about breaking that down? Because I don't know, I find it's when I have a student who I find is working really hard in, like, so many ways, sometimes I just don't know where to start. Like, what would you identify as the most important thing to be efficient in all of the aspects of trumpet playing, I guess? Like, what is the quickest avenue to efficiency to you? Mm,
See how little pressure you have to use to create a buzz? That's one. That's one. And then, by the way, this is my friend's father's 1941 Holton cornet that I just played on his funeral. And it's just so much fun. But so it just happens to be right here on my desk. But also, like those opera guys say, all you have to do is light up the horn that much. You just have to light up the horn. Just maybe, that thing about blow to the wall, right? Pandolfi says, if you blow, you suck. So, but if you just think, if you respect what this is an amplifier and it's really freaking loud, right? If what you put into it is compact and resonant, then you just blow this far and this thing will do the rest of the work. So those are my things is work less. Just blow to here. Show me how soft you can play. Just do that. It's so loud. Because young players especially, they work so hard because they're told, play to the press box. It's like, okay.
Yep.
You're 17 years old. You have the energy to do that. Guess what? When you're 30 and 40 and 50, it changes as your body changes. You're not as resilient. You don't snap back quite as easily. So it's tougher. So being efficient. So that's why I care at a young age. These 17, 18-year-olds, I want them to learn to be very efficient so that going forward, they can still play.
They can have longevity in their career and their trumpet playing. It's huge.
So huge.
Yeah. Great. So talking more about teaching, who was your most influential teacher or mentor, and in what ways did they shape your approach to trumpet playing?
Well, there you go. Vince DiMartino.
He's the best.
He's absolutely the best. And I feel has probably, I don't know, maybe shaped more lives than anybody. I don't know. He's just, he's a beautiful human. And when I was in the Marine Band, I had one lesson with him. And I was like, I'm just working so hard. My endurance is crap. And he said, well, what are you, about 30? I said, yeah. And he goes, yep, this is what happens. This is what happens. What gets you to a certain level when you're 20 years old, when you're 25, isn't going to work so much when you're 30, because seriously, things change. Your body stops producing collagen. Your body heals slower. All these things that help your chops heal and recover slow down as you age. And so when I was in the band was the first time that I really thought about, oh, dude, what? Buccinators? I use muscles in my face. I use zygo. What? Yeah. I started to think about my embouchure and about the mouthpiece pressure and about the direction. And then when I left the Marine Band, I had $5,000 in my pocket and thought I would be fine forever. And I moved to Danville, Kentucky. And seriously, I worked at Baskin Robbins for 2 years. And I studied trumpet with Vince DiMartino for 2 years. And he said, your high notes, they're right here. That's where your high notes are. They're just right there.
For our people who are listening, she's pointing to her cheekbones.
Oh, the zygomatic muscle. Yeah. Cheekbones, right? Cheekbones. Thank you. And he said, like playing piccolo trumpet. Look at the size of this instrument. We want a very small, very resonant tone. Now, he didn't talk a lot as a trumpet teacher. And I don't remember that we really worked on fundamental stuff a lot. We just kind of played together, and it was like, yeah, it's easy. Trumpet playing simple. It's just something we do between meals. It is. But it was. And then we'd go eat. But trumpet playing is simple. And we do so much to make it hard.
Mm-hmm.
So if you let trumpet playing be simple, if you put the mouthpiece here and then put it on the top lip and you go, boom, you're done. It's not that hard.
Yeah.
And it was through Vince that I learned how to play the trumpet. But yeah, I was just talking with my trumpet section from El Paso Symphony this morning about like trumpet playing's hard. We've done this. Oh my gosh, I have played trumpet for more than 50 years, and I'm still trying to figure out the easiest way to do it. I'm still reading books. I'm still listening to podcasts. I'm still trying to figure out certain things. Yeah. It's really hard, but it's really easy, and it's the coolest thing ever. And I'll stop talking now.
I think Vince too, he, more than just the things that he probably taught you physically about how to play trumpet, his attitude and approach to trumpet playing, coming out of the Marine Band, I feel like especially maybe where things were, my cat is on my screen, where things were probably really intense for you, like musically and professionally. Things were really, really intense, I'm sure. And Vince, his biggest quote is, "Trumpet is something you do in between meals," which I think made like the mindset shift,
Yeah. It's not, don't you dare miss that note. If you play a stinger where there isn't a stinger, you have to go see the drum major. We don't allow ourselves to make mistakes very much. And Vince just is like, this is so much fun.
Yep.
This is just a great thing to do. And so, yeah, he's such a positive, he is having such a positive impact on all of us, really.
Yeah. He's the best. He is the best.
And he's back. You get to see him a lot.
He is. I organized his music library last year. Yeah, spent a lot of time, and as you know, that music library, this was like a months-long project. But I mean, he couldn't wait to eat lunch every day. Was I want to eat lunch. I'm like, you okay?
And I bet he wanted to talk about every piece of music you took out. He's like, oh, well, I played that with.
Well, he, a good friend of a friend, found it in a garage about 30 years ago and gave it to him. And actually, that friend has this really special cornet, which actually he has in the back in the other room.
Right over here. Let me go. It's around here.
Play? Every piece. It was the best time. It was so great to get to know him during all of that. But yeah, I'm sure he just had to go from the Marine Band, an environment like that, to him. I'm sure was. Yeah. How was your time at Baskin Robbins?
Oh, as a frozen dessert engineer, it's darn valuable. Pretty darn. I got real quick.
Do you go to Baskin Robbins anymore?
I was the cake decorator.
Seriously?
I didn't just scoop. In fact, I didn't scoop. I was the cake decorator. Yep.
They knew you were valuable.
Oh yeah, I was valuable at Baskin Robbins. Absolutely.
I love that for you. I do. So our last question here is, do you have any new events or projects coming up? What can people look out for you in the future?
Well, probably the biggest project I have coming up is something that's going to change my life completely for a little while. I have a planned hysterectomy coming up actually in a month. So I will be off trumpet playing for at least 2 months. And I'm a little nervous about that. But with all the intra-abdominal pressure we use and the pelvic floor awareness and breathing, it's real important to just chill out and let the body heal. So, but I'm really interested in the learning experience because I am kind of an anatomy medical nerd. Um, and because of where I am generationally, I don't have many peers that I can talk to about trumpet playing and post hysterectomy. I mean, how do you heal from that? What's that feel like? How long is it going to take? So I'm really looking forward to documenting, and maybe, I don't know, maybe I'll write about it, about getting back to trumpet playing after major abdominal surgery. What's that look like? And with more women in the field, like your generation, with more women in the field, that it's information that I think will be valuable. Or not. Maybe I'll just like sit in bed and eat Cheetos and watch Desperate Housewives. I don't know. We'll see. But I do intend on writing some articles for ITG that have been going on in my mind for years. And I even have some that I have files on my computer that have outlines of articles. I've got so many great things 20% done. So so yeah, so I'm really gonna work on, hopefully I'll have some good things to come out of this next chapter. But yeah, playing wise, nothing. I think I just played my last concert last night, for a while. It's gonna be interesting.
I think if you do choose to write about, you know, your experience, I think that people will find it really, really valuable, because you're right. Somebody has to. How else would people learn about it? And it's a huge surgery. It's important. It's important to learn. So
It is important, and there are more and more women trumpet
yes.
players out there. And so, yeah, this is something that's medically necessary for a lot of people.
Mhm.
And yeah, it's really going to shake things up for my trumpet playing.
Yeah.
But at that point, I will have the opportunity to reapproach trumpet playing
Yes.
after being off for, I don't know, 2 months, 3
Yeah.
months. Like, okay, where do I start? It's
Yeah.
gonna be
Yeah. When I had a huge surgery and I took like 6 to 8 weeks off, I felt that way, where things felt new, but it was an opportunity to develop new habits. Like
uh-huh.
everything felt foreign, especially on my face, you know, even just like where my mouthpiece was sitting. I sort of had the ability to adjust it a little bit if I wanted to, you know, or things like articulation, like habits that were cemented for me, I was able to revisit, you know.
Okay.
So.
Okay. That's good. So, did you do any things during your recovery time where you weren't playing? Did you do anything that you felt helped you get back?
I did this
Did you do that? Okay, you did that? Yeah.
yeah, for people who are listening, up like a pencil like
A
that.
pencil string,
Uh-huh.
a button on a string,
Yeah, like that, yeah.
Pete, stuff like that. Yeah.
Yeah, I didn't have a P. I think if had I known about that, I didn't know about that,
Yeah.
when I had my surgery, but I think that probably would have been helpful. But I
Yeah.
also, I mean, I was in a lot of pain too, and so I just kind of, for the most
Yeah.
part, for like 2 weeks, I didn't do anything. But
That's
after that, I did some of this.
some of
So
the face strengthening stuff.
yeah, I did.
And the breathing stuff is
Mm.
just, yeah, I'm scared and I'm excited, and it's all gonna be just
Yeah,
fine.
but how cool will it be when you can share that experience with other people and other people can learn
Yeah.
from you?
You know, years ago, and I know we've been talking for a long time, we should probably stop, but too bad. Here we go. Years ago at IWBC, Marin Alsop gave the keynote address and talked about women brass players. And she said that, you know, her primary message was, it is up to us to change the landscape. And I love that the landscape is changing. And
Mhm.
part of that changing landscape is that we can talk about this.
Mhm.
And I think it's important. And I'm going to tell my trumpet studio tomorrow, hey, I'm going to have a hysterectomy in a month, and you all are going to study with Pancho Romero, which is a great privilege. And they're going to say, what's a hysterectomy? And I'm going to say, well, my non-essential lady parts are going to go to a farm. And I think it's important because as more women are becoming part of the trumpet world, of the brass world, the men need to understand as well that this is not, oh my gosh, forbidden topic. Hormone changes change chops, right? For a 20-year-old girl, their hormones are going like this. And what that means is that their chops feel different every day. And at certain points in their cycle, they might feel like really puffy, and that's hormones. And so to talk about this stuff, I mean, parts is parts. Nothing should be taboo when it comes to, how your parts affect your trumpet playing.
Yeah.
So,
If we care about everybody as musicians and we want everybody to be the best trumpet player they can be, then that includes talking about all of it, especially when the trumpet is such a physical, I mean, we use our body to produce this sound. So it's all important.
yeah, absolutely.
Well, thank you so much, Dr. Taylor. You are just the absolute.
Yeah. No,
That's God. Do you have anything else you'd like to share before we end it?
gosh, I'm going to really try and go to ITG this summer. I would
Please,
love
you
to.
too. You must.
The lineup is amazing. I'm really excited about the work that the board is doing and about the work Rebecca Wilt is doing in getting just freaking rock stars there. I think it's going to be wonderful. And I love that it's at Eastman. I hope we get a whole new crowd of people there. Yeah. And thank you for this, Julia. I admire your work, and I think you're an amazing human. And I just so look forward to seeing where your career goes.
No, you're just the best. I've looked up to you for so long. So
I'm glad. Thanks.
All right. Thank you, Dr. Taylor. It was so nice to chat with you. I hope that all of our viewers enjoyed this episode, and we can't wait to see you at this year's ITG conference in Rochester, New York.
Thanks for listening to another episode of the International Trumpet Guild podcast. The mission of the International Trumpet Guild is to promote communications among trumpet players around the world and to improve the artistic level of performance, teaching, and literature associated with the trumpet. We hope you will consider becoming a member at trumpetguild.org. For more information about the International Trumpet Guild podcast or to make suggestions for a future episode, please contact podcast@trumpetguild.org.